Welcome back, beautiful souls, to Wellness Business Builders Mentoring. I'm seeing you create your Canva. I'm seeing what you're doing online. I'm seeing some hilarious videos. You're weaving in different energies to when we first met, some of you, and I just want to congratulate you on that. Tonight, I'm talking to you about gridding. Now, I do land gridding. This is different, but it's a fractal, right? So we're going to talk into the important gridding of your energy within your brand on your social media usually. But a lot of websites too have the option to link your page, your Instagram or your Facebook. Usually it's Instagram because that's more, it's set up as a grid. And who here knows what a grid is? If I say the word grid, is that making sense? Like, drop it in the comment. Gridding, I will show you actually. Let me show you what I mean by ye old grid. All right. So I will get onto my Instagram and scroll up. Hopefully you can see this. So this is the grid, and it's how it looks as a complete big picture. So when I worked in magazines or book publishing, we would take the shots working through a feature or take the shots working through an article or a whole book project. And as I worked the shots, I would be thinking in the styling mode of the bigger picture. How does that book flow as a rhythm? How's it going to look? Your brain will rarely ever see it all together. But this is the difference between chaos and organization. Now, my grid isn't the best at the moment. I've released a lot of perfectionism in my own healing journey, but I still try to work within things that I know that are aesthetically pleasing and within my brand colors. So let me give you a little example. This is in the Canva. What we talked about was making some templates that are your backup. They're your branding. So see this pinky one here, and when I touch it, it disappears. So I have to be quick there. That pinky one there, I've got my logo, I've got my name, I've got it in black, I've got it in purple, I've got it in my few brand colors and a few neutrals. So what I do with those slides, I keep them on my phone as a little download off Canva. I throw those onto my ugly videos, right? That didn't work with my grid, just saying. It's like you covering up some ugly Nana underwear with a glamorous dress. No one's going to see it, but they will engage with the humor that I was trying to project in that. And that was a download of somebody else's video. It took me literally 30 seconds. For people that say to me they don't have time for this, it's not that they don't have time, they just don't know how. So that's why I'm here to empower you, that it's actually very simple. And once you action it, you can be doing this no matter where you are. I often download things while I'm sitting in the bath. I'm not joking. If you've got a little bit of a store up file, this morning I had a lazy morning because we had a big sound healing last night, lots of energy. And I thought, I'm just going to have a lazy morning in my Jimmy Jams. And what I did this morning was I created some things in Canva like this. And I used the same freaking template. I'll show you. Once you find a template or two or three that you love, it's rinse, repeat. And that's where you're creating a system. So this, believe it or not, is the same template. It's the same template. And I created that for our live tonight, where Nat and Lisa and I jumped on to just talk about why this business is working for us. Obviously, this is brighter pink, but if I don't want that particular image, I chose it because it's fun. I chose it because I want people to think that they are not locked into being any age to do this business. So there was a lot of intention. And it isn't just about what you choose aesthetically, it's about what your meaning is behind it, right? What your meaning. So weave your meaning into it. This one, got the thing on. That was my live this afternoon. I didn't feel like I looked amazing in that one, but my message is incredible. I'm not being judgmental here. I'm just tidying up. The Nana knickers are still there, but I'm tidying up and making the grid look interesting. and look like it jumps out as a professional brand. So drop me a 1 in the comments if you're excited about this. Is it new for you? Drop me a 2. And if you already knew this, drop me a 3. It's cool. We're just revisiting this because even I've lived my whole life doing this. I still forget. That's what we're like as humans, having the human experience. Thank you for your commentaries. All right, I'm going to switch screens now. Whoops, we don't want to see that. Switching screens. Present something else. Yes, we have. Let's hope I hit the right one. That's it. All right, today on to today's presentation. So what should be on the grid? It's not just visual, it's energetics, right? You've got your color, you've got your logo in some of them. Not everyone needs to have your logo, but your logo does need to be there when you're wheeling back to being, you got your business pants on. You're being professional. So get your logo on. Remember, logo holds intention. Not a single brand will be pitching something to you officially without a logo. They might do it with an influencer without a logo. That's more the advertorial lifestyle. You're buying the energy, buying the brand, you're buying into the storyline, right? So we choose where we put the logo, but the logo does need to be there somewhere. So let's dive into, and this is a formula, and rules are made to be broken. I'm big on rules are made to be broken, but this works. So if you're ever getting stuck for something, and I don't follow the rules, I'm a rule breaker, but every time I come back to the rules and remind myself, I get better results because it looks professional. So jot this down, or later, freeze frame this and download it onto your phone so that you can screenshot it. But here's your magic. Your magic formula is 40% educational. So before we started the recording tonight, I was chatting to one of you about this is what you know to be true, right? You don't need to have a teacher's hat on. This is you telling the story of what you know to be true. 30% should be personal. For those of you that are following me, you'll notice on my, and I'm really amping up the business again at the moment. I have these waves of where I get really intentional and then I let it drop back a bit, have a rest, and then I raise it and amp it up. I'm on this climbing the pinnacle of the mountain energetically again. I have no plan B. This must work for me. I choose to work from home more, and I just gave up my studio last night. So we've got to climb that mountain. We've got to put the effort in. So you'll notice on my Facebook lately, I've been just doing some engaging things like getting to know people. What's the last thing, a picture on your phone of something you ate? Go have a look at how many comments and pictures are there for that. I got a ton of engagement because I wasn't selling them something. I was connecting. Remember, I've said to you, it's about social media. Today I did another one because that worked. What is the last photograph on your phone of a picture of nature? I got a lot of engagement because they feel safe. Yeah, I'm not going to hit them in the inbox for that and go, would you like to see my presentation? They're just wanting to connect with me. They're dipping their toe in. They think they like me. They might be new to the page, but that feels safe for them. So I want you to realize that a big chunk, it's almost a third of your social media should be social. It should be showing who you are. I loved watching you over the holiday seasons. You were there in your fun suits. You were there with your families. Test it for me this week when I put up a Christmas blessing, even though I'm not so big on the corporate side of Christmas. Yeah, but I respect other people's opinions. I just put up blessings from my family. I got a lot of likes for that because it feels safe for people and you're connecting emotionally with them. So test that this week. Test the algorithms. Then you've got 20% humorous and relatable. And so just putting my phone on do not disturb because we know what happens there. Oh, Lisa's trying to get in. Has she got the link? Someone send her the link, please, because I'm recording. Someone send her the link or tell her to check her inbox. Cool. The magic formula, 20% should be relatable or humorous. And look, your humor may not be as silly as mine, and that's okay. But anyone that's feeling a little bit low and flat, They come to social media for a pick-me-up. You know that it works with the brain like that. You know, we love to, if not laugh at ourselves, laugh at others. And even if that is sarcastic or, you know, some kind of energy that's throwing a bit of shade at you, at mocking you about being silly, remember everything's energy and you can alchemize that. Okay. Now, here's your final 10% to make it a professional business. And notice it's only 10%. It's kind of like a tithing of your business sector. And this is where I caution people. I see this happen so often with newbies that jump online, think they're going to do an online business. They switch their personal page into their business page and they forget about the other things that we've just mentioned. They totally are about photographs of products. Not that that's wrong, but ask yourself, are you going to sign up within your busy time frame to look at somebody's catalog? Ask yourself that. So present the catalog in funny ways. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like, hit it with your personal unique stamp. You know, you'll see that I'm flashing little things right at the end of somebody else's video that's a silly video that's talking into something that's serious, but it's presented in a crunchy mum's way or a different way, something that appeals to you. Because if it appeals to you, more than likely it's going to appeal to the tribe that you're attracting, right? Because we're attracting the energy that we're like. So within this 10%, we have an offer and an invitation. Now, here's the thing. You will feel like you're talking about your offer and your invitation over and over and over again, and your little brain will say to you, stop talking about it. Here's the thing. I've been doing events and sound healing since 2016 on my social media, and still my regulars don't know where to look for the link. I'm not even lying. I feel like I'm talking about it 24/7. I post every day and still they don't know. People do need to be spoon-fed and it needs to be obvious. So get over yourself, get out of that part of your brain that's trying to sabotage you and just keep showing them where. This is the call to action. If I look at your page this week and it's not bloomin' obvious that you're doing this business as part of your business weave, then you are not communicating it to people that are scrolling rapidly. Our attention spans are less than 7 seconds. So if it isn't captivating you with color or with a hook, we'll talk into hooks another week, or with something humorous or something personal or something emotional or something that points them to come and have a look at the whole reel or the whole carousel, we'll talk into carousels in a minute, then you have failed. You have failed. But failure is what entrepreneurs love, because in every failure, we have to up-level. Yeah, it's not failure, it's a lesson. All right, so let's dive into the first point, educational, 40%. This builds authority. People come to you because you're an expert at something. I don't care if you're an artist or if you are, well, we've got examples here. You're an expert as a carer. You're an expert as a homeschool mum. You're an expert as an animal lover. You're an expert in your own field. You're an expert at the gym as a trainer. We need to shine in our own genius zone. And I need you to weave that language in to every post, actually. Yeah, so appeal to your market. This is how we're niching. Teach what you know, but keep it simple. Now, don't look to me for that, because I am the classic example of the overshare. I'm working on that. Dumb it down. Dumb it down like an ad would, and within 7 seconds, you've got the pitch to somebody that's very basic, okay? If they haven't understood what the message is within the first sentence, that's the hook. With the caption at the top, telling them the obvious or something humorous to pull them in, they're not going to watch the rest of the video. Here's why this happens in posts. That's good. Tell them, here's why this is happening. Tell them the obvious. People are simple, actually. They're busy, they're multitasking, they're often like us, busy mums or busy grandmothers or busy carers that have somebody else in the background making a lot of noise. You need to capture their attention quickly. Tell them, here's why this happens. Problem, solution. And then we're going to show them the reframes, the myths, and the practical crossovers. So this will be your story. Oh, there is no waiting room. She's on the wrong thing. Sorry, it's interrupting me. There is no waiting room. It's accessible for all. I'm just going to keep going because I've lost my train now. Soz. All right, let's jump into the next one. All right, personal, 30%. This builds connection. We talked about social media being social. The goal for this is to get social enough that they want to find you in your house or your website. If you choose to have a website, you don't have to. Depends whether you want this to be your full-blown, full-time, or whether you've got this as a wing on another business that you're scaling. All of that's possible there. They've got to connect though. So we're telling stories here. We're teaching short lessons. We might be doing look at this, you know, here's the stain and here's the stain removal. Look at my face before and after the mineral makeup. We're doing things that show them personal things, but we're just building connection. You saw me get home from a sound healing last night. I got in, I was going to take my makeup off after work. I thought, throw the camera on. What have I got to lose? Please be opportunistic because the messaging's there. Because when we do these mundane things, there's something in the brain that makes it relatable. There's a whole lot going on at the moment for viral videos for a woman sitting in a car eating a piece of apple that a lot of copycats have copied. Try it because everybody can relate to eating an apple and just clever copy popped on top of that visual. So the brain is almost mesmerized with something that feels familiar because everybody's sat in the car and eaten something. Everybody's taken their makeup off unless you don't wear makeup at the end of a tiring day. You don't need to show up looking your best for that. You're just being relatable. And this is what we're talking about with being personal. I want you to talk into the personal stuff is the wins, the wobbles. Don't just think you've got to turn up shining. Yeah, you don't have to say, hey, I made a lot of money this month. No, you get up and be real and say, this was a difficult month for me, but find the gold in the lesson and talk into that. It will be relatable, I promise you. Wisdom from lived experience. I've been bankrupt, so has Karen. We speak into that regularly on our socials. I'm not ashamed of it. Because when people see me gather momentum, I'm now debt-free, they clap for me if they really love me. That is personal. And yes, sometimes we might be airing our personal dirty laundry. You don't have to. Whatever feels genuine for you, that's what I'm asking you to access, and it will get easier. I want you to think, I feel him, I feel her. I want the person on the other side of the phone to watch what you've put up and go, I think and feel her or him, or all these other pronouns we have now. I'm doing a celebrants course. It's tricky. A lesson from a client session. That's an amazing personal connection. That'll be someone else talking up your business, putting it up as a testimonial, money in the bank. Things that, because when you get other people recommending you, other people commenting, ask people to comment, ask people to share your video, ask people to share your live. When you ask, you will receive. And I want you to talk into a moment where you nearly quit, because quitters never win. Consistency is key, right? And that is so relatable. It's so personal. We've all had that temptation. If we're honest with ourselves, this is pure, rugged authenticity that people love. They can relate to it. And what I used to believe versus what I know now. We did that on our live today. All of us were a little bit skeptical about another affiliate online, and guess what? It proved us wrong. And that's a powerful personal connection. It should be 30% of what you're posting. Okay, why is that not working? All right, I think my things run out of juice. That's not good. I'm going to see if I can do it manually. Oh, my mouse has run out of power. I have to. I'll just do it bit by bit. Cool. Relatable. That was relatable, right? Everyone's mouse has run out of juice. 20% humorous, or however you show joy. What we're accessing here is one of the highest states of consciousness, which is joy. This builds likability, and it encourages shares. Whenever I do something silly, whether people share it to make me feel ashamed or whether they share it because they actually think it's funny is irrelevant to me. The fact is that you're getting out there. So it's self-aware humor to whatever your level is comfortable. Don't ever do anything that makes you feel embarrassed. I'm okay with feeling embarrassed, but if you're not, do it gradually. Your spiritual truths wrapped with your Australian humor or your whatever country you're from. Australians are really sarcastic. And when I lived in Asia, I couldn't use that same humor. They didn't get it. They don't have a word for sarcasm. So test your market, right? But in Australia, people really relate to sarcastic humor, but test it. Call yourself out. People love that. Yeah. Remember, gossip sells. And instead of gossiping about someone else, I'm actually flipping the mirror and using it against myself. Like today, when I was doing my live, I had some nice frequencies. I was all set up. I had my coffee. I had my product placement. And then a blooming ad came on the TV, and I called myself out instead of ignoring it. Because why? I'm not embarrassed. I'm being real. It's funny. It's happened to you. And I bet a lot of you hung up your live and got flustered and didn't get back on. The show goes on. It's like the actor on the stage. They tripped and fell, and they get up and get straight back to it. This is how we should be with the energy of our business. So drop me a 1 if that's resonating and if that's helping you. Just keep going. And think, haha, that's so me. That's what you want your client to think. Haha, I connect. That's amazing. That's hilarious. That is totally relatable. Okay, let's see if my little mousey works for a second. Great. Next slide. Your offer, your invitation. Now, I'm not going to lie, this will be your hardest thing to do. None of us we have this ingrained thing within us that sales are icky. They're not. If you actually realize that sales are service. Now, I was chatting with one of you before we started recording today that I almost didn't offer this pitch to you, but I knew that the Renew Cream would help a skin condition. Amazing. So was that a sale or was that service? Was that life-changing? This is what I want you to feel into. What is your why? We peel it back to that. Back to the basics of the brand, the foundations of your brand. Why are you actually doing this? And some of you might be honest enough to say that you're doing it for the money. So use that pitch in your sell. If you're doing it for the money, then you're going to want to help others do it for the money. That's the same energy that you are feeling. And so you should put that out there authentically. Don't cover up your why of why you got into this. Soft, clear, no awkward sales energy. You're not selling things here. You are offering options. Invite. You don't need to convince. Nobody likes a pushy salesperson. Remember, it's consistency. It's repetition that drops into the subconscious brain. It's showing things visually that flash into the mind that land eventually. And yes, your viewers may not be activated immediately because statistics show us that it takes 100 times for somebody to see the same thing until they recognize that as familiar. And that's okay. This is where I want you to turn up every day, or if you set even a barometer, if every day is too much for you and you're doing a few different jobs, turn up 3 times a week and be consistent. Okay? And think, this feels aligned. This feels aligned. Does this feel aligned? Every single post. Don't be sloppy with your posting. You can be quick, fast, rapid, and spontaneous, but always check in with yourself. does this feel aligned? So I showed you the grid on my Instagram, right? And some websites will have you connect your Instagram to the website. This is where the grid needs to be professional, because your website, if you have someone else set your website up, you've paid them a lot of money to do that. You don't want things on your page that don't work with the branding that you've paid for. On saying that though, these days setting up websites is fairly simple. If you want to be talked into how to do that, I can help you out there as well. I built my most recent website by myself, whereas the one before that cost me thousands. Yeah, so, but what I'm saying to you is that you've spent the money, because a website's going to cost you monthly money, and you want your shop front, you want your Instagram to connect in there with your colors, your branding, and to look like it lives in the house. I want you to see it now as the furniture decorating. Whatever you bring into the house on the website needs to match. Now, as a stylist, I would use a styling board. This is like a Pinterest board. Yeah, in the old days, we would pull things out of magazines, color swatches from the paint shop, textures. It's like your manifestation board. How do I want it to look? When I decorated my mum's apartment, I did this because, you know, mum and I were going to go shopping, and I know my mum well, and I'm spending her money, right, to decorate her new apartment. And my mum's going to get emotionally attached to, oh, look at that, but it's maroon. No, mum, easy, no, because it doesn't match the styling board. Do you see what I mean? It just helps us stay focused, helps us stay on track, because we're all like bowerbirds. Yeah, we go, oh, pretty shiny object. Oh, next minute, it's looking like chaos on the page, right? So anything that you're pulling into your website needs to have your brand. And if you haven't solidified the brand yet, please book a one-on-one with me. All right, so just as an example, and this is not how I do it. I go on daily, but if you want to set just, you know, baby steps, let's go. Monday, we do an educational post. Wednesday, we do a personal post. Friday, we do a humorous post that's relatable. And Sunday, we'll do our sales pitch, invite, or reflection. Drop a one in the comments if this is helping you. Is it helping you make sense of something that we do automatically on autopilot sometime? And you know, our lives are busy and chaotic, right? So we're pulling in a bit of order here so that we look professional, even though we're turning up authentically. And that's what I mean about you being the brand. What color am I wearing tonight intentionally? Have I got the light? Is my lighting pretty okay? You know, I'm not looking perfect, but I'm turning up within my branding. All right? Golden rule here. If people learn, laugh, or feel seen, they stay. Let's say that again. If people learn, laugh, feel seen, they stay. If they stay, they buy. But they won't buy if you're not telling them what you're selling. Like I said to you, I've been doing events for years, since 2016, and my clients still say to me, where's the link for the next event, even though they come every week? Where's the link, Michelle? So clearly, my conversation around that isn't basic enough. It's not obvious enough. Now, if I picked up a mass market magazine, it would have starbursts. It would be like, buy now. And sometimes this feels icky, but honestly, this is what we need to integrate with people being busy. People are busy. They're scrolling. Even though they love you, they're like, oh my gosh, I just saw so-and-so's post and they've got this happening and they're talking about this new affiliate, but next minute they're scrolled because the dog ran out the back door and they forget to come back to it. You're the same. I know it. So let's get down and dirty and get back to basics. Most people post when they feel inspired. Yeah, this week I'm feeling so inspired, so I'm posting a lot. And I want you to test that as well, because you feel in your little heart that you're over posting. I've got these demons inside me too going, oh my gosh, stop, Michelle, stop. You're oversharing. Stop it. I'm telling you now, not everyone sees all your posts. And this is also how you weed the garden for people that aren't into you. If we're mixing it up like we're talking about tonight with the gridding, they won't be bored, because next minute they'll pissing themselves laughing, and they'll be messaging you going, oh my gosh, that was hilarious. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that with the educational one, the connection one. Merry Christmas. You see what I'm saying? You're connecting on different levels. So if you are nervous that you're turning up too much, maybe you're being too monotone, maybe you need to get over yourself, and maybe you're actually judging. There, I said it. You're judging what people think, and that's putting out the wrong energy, and that's what's going to come back to you. If you're ignoring people that are messaging you, you are not using social media with wisdom. Of course, there's some weirdos there, yeah? There's some bots too. Like, use your discernment, but social media insists that you engage. So here's a rule of thumb that I didn't put in the comments here in my slideshow. Before you actually post, technically you should be on half an hour before and engaging with others. That ensures that you will be on their algorithm feed. Does that make sense? So I have socialized, I've put the energy out, I've planted the seeds, and then when I go live, they'll see me on their feed. If you are not being social on social media, the algorithm will not favor you. Here's the results if we're doing the things that we talked about here. We've got mixed signals, we've got inconsistent energy, and we've got audience confusion, and they'll tap out. You know it, you do as well. But when somebody is consistent and growing in their excitement and their joy for it, I see some of you expanding with absolute amazing humor, etc. lately. And tell me now, drop a 1 in the comments that you aren't getting more engagement. You are. I know you are, because this works, because you're turning up having fun. And life's stressful out there. We come to social media, all of us, for distraction, right? It's entertainment. So it gives a dopamine hit. And I want my page to be known as not just the serious stuff, but I am multifaceted. I can hold space for your deepest, darkest secrets. And I'm also there as a yes girl. I went out for dinner with one of my clients the other night. I'm there having fun. And I use every opportunity because I just want you to know all of me. I want you to know all of me. And if you don't love me, move along. All right, we're almost ready to wrap up. I will just screen share now with my Canva and show you one more thing that I wanted to speak into. Drop me a message in the comments if you've learned something different tonight, because that's the goal, right? That is the goal. Nobody's learned anything. Boo-hoo. I need to try harder. Where are we? Okay. When I have multiple things up of Canva, there we are. Boom, magic. All right, Canva. Okay, who this week has started working in Canva? I've watched a few of you and I'm really proud. It's so awesome. I want you to just use Canva now to do different things. So we spoke into the carousel, and I've decided that I'm actually going to pitch to people that might relate to my age, and not thinking that they are old. I want to pitch to opportunists. I want to pitch to artistic people. I want to pitch to people that are a little more like me. I'll never get back and go, oh my gosh, I'm old. I don't have enough superannuation. No, I'm a can-do person. I am solution focused, yeah? So you will get more traction on a post. This is one that I did this morning. Let's see if that shows you. No, I've got to screen slide that. All right, it's moving here, yeah? I used a template, and you'll see I used the template twice, and I've gone over the top of it. So all I did was tweak the copy and added in a different picture, and the pictures were here in the side, yeah? I didn't even take the pictures. They were already in the Canva. I typed in quirky grandma. Is that helping you? I want you to just find fonts and colors, and I put a little bit of a pink layer over it so that I married those pictures into my brand. Here I've got one here, if you can see, ready for tomorrow. Are you in your no longer basic era? I'm going to speak into, doesn't matter what age you are. If I can do this, you can do this too. So use whatever you have going on in your life to speak to another aspect of yourself, if that makes sense. Who here has already niched in the avatar client that you want to pitch to? Have you worked that out yet? How's that going? Great. I'm really happy to hear that, because if we're not tailoring, we're speaking to the masses, and that never works. We've got to speak to the ones that we want to work for, which will the ones we want to work with, which will then repel the ones that are there for the wrong reasons. When we're getting down and dirty to business. Yeah. Now, if you were a massive entrepreneur, gazillionaire, doing business lunches, you would not be going for lunch at McDonald's with just anybody, would you? You would be tailoring where you're going, how you want to dress, and who you want to spend your time with. Who's the time wasters? That's what we need to weed out here without being judgmental. We're just setting our intentions so that what we're after lands. It's like fishing. Yeah. So I will wrap it up here tonight, and we'll stay on as we usually do, encouraging you to invite others, invite your leads into this group so that they too can get excited about building your brand. Where does this happen? In what other world, in what other universe does this happen where you're gifted all of these things for free? And if you haven't started working on your banners and your, let's click on this one here. This one here was my old email branding. I've changed that now. When you get your emails from me, you'll see that the branding's changed. That's what I want you to work on for the next couple of weeks, is getting everything seamlessly looking similar so that somebody sees it and goes, oh my gosh, yes, that's a person on the social media. I'm going to wheel them back to the house, which is your website. All right. Happy socializing, because that's all this is. And we'll see you next week. Thank you, guys.